everybody, it's me Amir, welcome back to Berlin, and today in this video I would like to talk with you about the 10 things that I like about Berlin, because I think it's going to be really nice to start 2020 on a positive note, and also this is a response video to another video that I made about the 7 things that I hate about Berlin. So there was a lot of questions and I want to clear the first one about food. The first thing that I like about Berlin is the food here, and I also said this is the thing that I hate about Berlin. Well, the thing that I hate about the food in Berlin is that there is not specific food for Berlin that I like. Well, if you think about what's very specific about the food here, maybe currywurst is something that originated in Berlin. You can argue maybe the doner kebab or the Gemüse kebab started here. And these two things I don't like. But what I really like about the food here is the variety. Berlin is a cosmopolitan city. There are a lot of communities from all over the world in Berlin, therefore there is a lot of food opportunities from South America, from Asia, from the Middle East, from Africa, and this is something that I really love. There is a lot of restaurants and unique restaurants, and also unique groceries that you can find in the supermarkets. For example, I personally really like to shop in the Asian supermarkets. I find a lot of interesting stuff there and I like to cook Asian food. So for me this is really fantastic and it's something that I really love about the city. The second thing that I like about Berlin is the nature. Berlin is a very green city. Right now it's winter, so I'm shooting all the videos inside the house, but in summer usually I go out with the camera and I love shooting outside. I made a whole video only about the parks and the greenery of the city, you can check it out. And all in all, in summer it feels like Berlin is more like a big village than a big city, and this is something that I really like. The third point that I really like about the city is also kind of related. It's the openness of the city. Physically, I feel like Berlin is a very open city. The streets are very wide and it doesn't feel very crowded here like in other big cities in the world like New York or Paris. I feel more comfortable here. Like I said, it's more like a village vibe. Because of that, you don't feel a lot of tourism when you live in Berlin. I know when I visited Amsterdam, for example, or Prague, in the old city, in the beautiful parts of the city, it's very crowded with tourists. Well, there are many tourists also in Berlin, but there are also a lot of centers in Berlin, and the old part of Berlin is quite big, it's whole of Mitte, and because of that, it doesn't feel like a very touristy city, even though it is. When I traveled to very touristy cities in the world, I felt really unwelcome as a tourist. But I think here tourists feel very welcome. I don't know if it's true. I was never a tourist in Berlin. If you were, maybe you can write in the comments how did you feel here. Another thing that I really love about the city is that it's a cosmopolitan city. When I moved to Berlin, I thought it's going to be a very German city, but actually it's not. Sometimes in the public transportation, I ask myself, where are all the Germans? Maybe they have cars, I don't know. But all in all, in general, I feel like there are people in Berlin from all over the world. And living here, I have friends from all the continents. I have many friends from Asia, from South America, from North America, from the States also. So this is something really great. But you need to be really open-minded if you want to open yourself to that. I know that a lot of newcomers usually stay in their own community. For me it will be, for example, the Israeli community, but actually I personally don't feel very comfortable sometimes inside the Israeli community here, and I try to find friends from other places in the world, and luckily I found a lot of really nice people from a lot of very interesting countries, and I really like to learn about their cultures and their language and their food. So this is something that really opened up the world for me, coming to Berlin and to be exposed to all this beauty. I think this is the one thing that I love the most about the city. Point number 5 is the sense of freedom. I know that a lot of people are always talking about it, that Berlin is a very free city. There's a lot of freedom of speech in the city, at least this is how I feel, and there's also a lot of freedom for artists and a lot of freedom for body. Nobody will judge you if you will dress in a certain way. Fashion is not a very big deal here in Berlin, you can be whoever you want, and this is a really great feeling. There is also a lot of freedom with sexuality and being naked in public. In the summer in the lake, a lot of people are getting undressed, and this is totally okay, this is part of the culture. In a lot of nightclubs, people are engaging in sexual interactions, and when you respect someone else and this is part of the culture and nobody is getting hurt by that, I think this is something very unique and wonderful. And if you are living here or want to move here or just visiting here, try to explore a little bit. Just remember to be very respectful and try to understand what's going on around you. Another thing that I love about the city is the nightlife. Now all of my friends are laughing because I'm not going to clubs like I used to go in the past. In my first 2 years in Berlin I used to club a lot and to party a lot, but I settled in a little bit and now I'm going a little bit less. But I have a lot of good memories from the nightlife in Berlin, and still there are places that I love to go to every once in a while. And I think the nightlife in Berlin is something very unique to the city. I know that a lot of people are coming to visit Berlin because of the nightlife, so there is not a lot that I can add to this conversation about nightlife in Berlin, but I can tell you that in my opinion this is something that everybody should experience. Another thing that I love about the city, and maybe all of Germany, is the public healthcare system. I will not talk a lot about it. I know this is a topic that can be very complicated, and a lot of people will find it very hard to get into the system of the public healthcare system. For me it took 3 years to get into it, but once I'm in, it's so easy. You just go to the doctor, you show the card, you don't need to pay for most treatments. Yeah, it's just really good system in my opinion. Point number 8 is the public transportation in Berlin. I talked a little bit about it in a previous video, but I think the public transportation here is wonderful. I can get to every small part of the city in less than 30 minutes because I'm living in the center of Berlin. So this is really good. The city is connected very well. There are a lot of trains, there are a lot of buses, and you will never find yourself stuck somewhere and need a cab. Unless you live in the outskirts of the city, but Berlin A, B, the two inner parts of the city, are very well connected. The public transportation also has some problems, of course. In my opinion, it's not very clean and sometimes not very comfortable, but the connectivity between the parts of the city is just amazing. Another thing that I love about the city is the winter. And I know that I'm in the minority, most people like the summer, but I personally love the winter. The city is becoming a little bit more quiet, and I personally feel very creative here in winter. The winter itself is not so hard like you would imagine. It can get really cold, but it's always dry. Once in every few years it snows quite a lot, but usually the winter is quite dry. The interiors are always kept warm, and also the public transportation. I made a whole video how to prepare yourself for winter, you can check it out also. And right now even I start working on a new movie that is taking a lot of my time. This is why I produce less videos for YouTube. Yeah, I'm drawing a lot, it's a lot of animation, so I feel like super creative right now. I'm sitting and drawing all day, and it's a great joy. I just love the winter here. And the last point that I would like to talk about, the thing that I love about the city, is New Year's Eve. People are going completely crazy here. It's actually legal to sell 3 days before New Year's Eve fireworks in the supermarkets. So everybody is arming up before New Year's Eve, and everybody is just firing their own firecrackers in the street, and it feels like a simulation of World War II and the Battle of Berlin. The city is full of smoke and explosion and fire. I know many people don't like it, a lot of people are getting afraid of it, especially if you have a pet. The pets are going crazy about it, but I personally find it super interesting. Yeah, so as you can see, it's completely crazy, so I wish you all Happy New Year and see you all in the next one. Bye bye.